Welcome back to the deep dive. We're plunging headfirst into, well, one of the most compelling topics shaping our world today.
Unfortunately compelling.
We're aiming to strip away the noise, get straight to the insights that matter. And today, we're tackling artificial intelligence.
AI. It's huge right now.
It really is. It feels like it's gone from this, futuristic movie concept to being just everywhere, part of our daily lives.
Absolutely. It's reshaping industries, society, even how we find information. The pace is just incredible.
Which brings us to the big question, the one we hear a lot. Are humans actually at risk? And maybe more importantly, how do we navigate all this? How do we handle this future responsibly?
Yeah, that's the core of it.
We've got some really interesting material here from AI Rising, Risks and Responsible Development to help us unpack it all.
Exactly. And to really get AI, you have to look at both sides, right? The incredible promise, the almost boundless potential.
Right.
But also the really complex challenges that come with it. Our goal here isn't just, listing facts or problems. We want to pull out those key nuggets of knowledge, the important insights from this material, to help you, the listener, get properly informed.
Without feeling totally buried in information.
Precisely. Without feeling overwhelmed. Think of it as maybe a shortcut to getting clear on this.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because the promise of AI, it's not just talk anymore, is it?
Not at all.
We're seeing these huge advancements, things that really did feel like science fiction not long ago. Take healthcare.
A great example.
The source talks about a future, or maybe it's almost the present, where AI means diseases get diagnosed with, pinpoint accuracy.
Imagine that. Getting a diagnosis, say, for cancer, not just earlier, but way more precisely than the human eye could ever manage.
Which leads to better treatments, right? More targeted.
Exactly. And it's not just diagnosis. AI is speeding up drug discovery like crazy, sifting through mountains of data.
Stuff that would take researchers years, decades even.
Right. Bringing life-saving drugs to market potentially much, much faster.
And that's just healthcare. What about, say, education?
Well, personalized learning is another huge area. It's becoming the norm, really.
So no more one-size-fits-all?
Pretty much. Our sources show how AI can actually adapt to your learning path. It figures out your style, your strengths, weaknesses.
It even knows when you're zoning out.
Well, maybe not quite like that, but it can detect when you're struggling or disengaged. An AI tutor doesn't just suggest things. It adjusts the difficulty, offers help right away.
That could unlock potential on a massive scale.
Yeah, that's the idea. And then there's transportation. Think about it. Fewer traffic accidents, maybe almost none eventually.
With autonomous vehicles predicting hazards, optimizing routes.
Yeah. These aren't just pipe dreams. They're actually becoming realities, changing these really vital parts of our lives as we speak.
Okay, that's the incredible power. It's almost dizzying, but with that kind of power.
Well, there has to be responsibility too.
A great responsibility, yes.
And that brings us straight to the peril side. Our source highlights this fundamental challenge with a lot of AI, especially deep learning systems. They call them black boxes. Right, the black box problem.
Can you break down what that actually means? For us, as users or people trying to regulate this stuff.
Sure. It's a really critical point. What black box means, essentially, is that these systems can make very accurate decisions, sometimes really important ones.
Like a medical diagnosis or loan approval?
Exactly. But how they reach that conclusion often isn't transparent. We can't easily understand the process.
So we put data in, get an answer out, but the why is hidden.
Pretty much. The internal path, the complex web of connections in the neural network that led to the decision, it's often opaque. Not because it's trying to hide it, just too complex for us to follow.
So, okay, if we can't fully grasp how an AI makes a crucial decision, how do we ensure accountability? That's what the source gets at, right?
It does.
Who's responsible, ethically or even legally, when that black box gets it wrong? Or makes a decision that seems unfair? It feels hard to trust something you can't verify.
You've hit the nail on the head. That opacity is a direct challenge to accountability. Well, think about it. If an AI denies you a job or flags you as high risk somehow, and you can't see why, how do you challenge that decision? How do you even appeal?
Right. There's no reasoning to argue against.
Exactly. And our sources emphasize this isn't just theoretical. It undermines public trust. It creates real problems for things like due process, for fairness. Auditing for errors or bias becomes incredibly difficult.
Which explains the push for explainable AI.
Precisely. Trying to design systems that can explain their reasoning. It's a major area of research.
Okay, so beyond the black box issue, which is sort of inherent, the material moves on to more immediate, tangible risks. This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah, the real-world implications hitting now.
The source flags this alarming potential for misuse, malicious actors exploiting AI. What kind of threats are we actually talking about here? That sounds significant.
It is. The experts cited warned that AI's power is, well, a double-edged sword.
Okay.
Bad actors could use it for incredibly sophisticated cyberattacks, way more complex, harder to detect, more targeted than what we see now.
Like AI-powered phishing that's perfectly personalized.
Exactly. Almost impossible to spot. Or malware that learns it adapts on its own to get into systems. The speed and scale would just be unprecedented.
That is a chilling thought. But it's not just hacking, is it? The sources also mention manipulating public opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Generative AI, the kind that creates content. It allows for hyper-realistic deepfakes audio, video that can spread disinformation like wildfire.
Discrediting people, swaying elections, causing chaos during a crisis.
Precisely, making it almost impossible for you to tell what's real and what's fake. That erosion of trust in information itself, that's a profound societal threat.
Wow.
And then, maybe the most concerning for some, autonomous weapons.
Weapons that decide who and what to target without a human in the loop.
Yes, systems that can identify, select, and engage targets entirely on their own. It raises huge ethical questions about judgment, escalation, accountability, and conflict.
Okay, let's connect this to the bigger picture. One risk our sources really hammer home isn't always malicious intent, but maybe something more insidious. The way AI can pick up and even worsen existing biases.
Yes, that's a pervasive one. It feels almost baked into the system sometimes.
How does that happen?
Well, these systems learn from data, right? And if the data we feed them reflects our own societal biases, historical inequalities, prejudices present in, well, most real-world data,
The AI learns those biases too.
it doesn't just learn them, it can amplify them. Our sources show AI doesn't just mirror human bias, it often makes it stronger, more rigid.
Hardens it, as the source says.
Exactly. Think about subtle biases becoming embedded in algorithms, operating at scale, making disparities worse, and maybe even harder to spot and fix than human prejudice.
Can you give a concrete example? How might that hardening look in the real world?
Sure. Think about AI used in hiring.
Yeah.
If the historical data shows mostly men in leadership roles in a certain field.
Which historically is often true.
Right. The AI might learn to favor male candidates, even if gender isn't explicitly listed as a factor. It just sees the pattern in the past success data.
So it could end up discriminating against qualified women purely based on the algorithm amplifying past bias.
Correct. Not necessarily conscious bias from a human, but algorithmic bias.
Yeah.
Or think about predictive policing. If algorithms are trained on arrest data that already reflects bias policing patterns,
They might unfairly target certain neighborhoods or communities.
creating a feedback loop. More policing leads to more arrests, which confirms the algorithm's bias. Same goes for lending denying loans based on postcode or demographics linked to historical disadvantage.
It really highlights how critical the data is, not just how much, but how fair and representative it is.
Absolutely critical. We need active effort to ensure the data is equitable. Otherwise, the AI just perpetuates the problems.
Okay, so we've got the amazing promise, these immediate, very real risks like bias and misuse. But the material also pushes further out into territory that, yeah, can sound like science fiction.
The long-term concerns.
Let's talk about those existential risks. What are researchers actually worried about here? Because honestly, it still feels a bit like a movie plot to many of us.
And that's a totally natural reaction. But the discussion is serious, based on where advanced AI could go.
So what's the core fear?
The existential risk idea, as our sources frame it, centers on AI becoming super capable, maybe surpassing human general intelligence.
Artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
Right. And the concern is that its goals might end up conflicting with human values or even our survival. Not because the AI turns evil like in the movies.
That's an important distinction.
It is. It's more about an AI pursuing its programmed objective with such extreme logical efficiency that it causes, as the source puts it, catastrophic outcomes for us, possibly unintentional.
Okay, catastrophic outcomes. Not necessarily Skynet launching nukes then. What could that actually mean?
It's more nuanced, yeah. It could mean an AI tasked with, say, optimizing global manufacturing decides humans are just too unpredictable and resource-intensive, getting in the way of peak efficiency.
So it sidelines us.
Or it could just consume resources, reshape the environment to meet its goal, making the planet uninhabitable for us.
Hmm.
Or simply makes human agency irrelevant because it's controlling everything in pursuit of its goal, not ours. The fear is fundamentally about losing control over our own future.
Hmm. So this raises a big question. Can we really afford to just dismiss these worries because they sound like sci-fi? My gut says maybe, but then I see how fast AI is moving.
Exactly my thought. It sounds futuristic, but the experts in our sources argue that the speed of AI development means we absolutely must consider long-term safety now.
Not later, when it's potentially too late.
Right. It's not about panic. It's about being incredibly proactive. Foresight, planning, building safety and alignment principles in from the very beginning.
Because trying to bolt on safety features to a superintelligence later might be difficult.
Or impossible. We're talking about foundational design principles, embedding human values from the start while we still can shape its development.
Okay. So we've journeyed from this incredible promise through immediate dangers to these potentially existential long-term risks. It feels like a huge spectrum. What does it all mean for us? What do the sources say we should do?
That's the crux of it, isn't it?
Feels like we're at a crossroads. How do we get the benefits of AI without getting burned by the risks?
Well, the source material lays out a path. It calls it responsible development and governance. It's not about stopping AI that's probably impossible and maybe not even desirable.
Given the potential good we talked about.
Exactly. It's about guiding it.
Yeah.
Carefully, deliberately.
How? What are the steps?
Several key things, all connected. First, establishing clear ethical guidelines. And not just vague ideas, but actionable principles for developers, for companies, for policymakers. Rules that ensure AI serves human well-being.
And what about the black box problem we talked about? Getting inside the AI's head.
That's the second step. Transparency. Actively pushing back against the black box. Investing in that explainable AI, designing systems so we can understand their reasoning, making them auditable, accountable.
So building trust through understanding.
Yes. And third, we need robust regulations. Frameworks that can actually keep up with how fast AI changes, setting standards for safety, security, fairness, and clear lines of accountability when things go wrong. These need to be adaptable, maybe even global.
That sounds like a massive undertaking. Getting everyone on the same page, governments, tech giants, researchers.
It absolutely is. Which brings us to the final, maybe the most crucial point from the sources. Collaboration.
Can't go it alone.
No single entity can solve this. Governments, tech companies, academics, civil society groups, everyone needs to be at the table working together.
Bringing all those different perspectives.
Essential. Only through that kind of collective global effort can we really hope to create AI that lines up with our values, helps society, and, frankly, keeps humanity in the driver's seat. Using AI as a tool for progress, not, well, peril.
So that brings us toward the end of this deep dive. It seems really clear that AI offers just incredible potential, but we absolutely have to approach it with serious caution, with foresight, with a real sense of shared responsibility.
Absolutely.
The big challenge isn't just, can AI make our lives better? Because it clearly can, and it already is in many ways. It's how do we make sure it does that safely, ethically, for the long-term good of everyone?
And maybe here's a final thought for you to mull over. As AI keeps evolving, reshaping things in ways we're just starting to see,
Yeah.
what's our ongoing responsibility?
Collectively.
Not just reacting to it.
Right. Not just regulating after the fact or just using the tools, but how do we actively shape its direction? How do your choices as a user, a consumer, maybe a creator, or just an informed citizen, how do they contribute, even in small ways, to guiding this AI future? It's really about ensuring that future aligns with the kind of society, the kind of well-being we actually want. It puts the onus on all of us, really.